You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
What you talking about, Will?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Did I do that?
Know It All Nation, thanks for tapping in for another Thursday night episode of the JAG2G podcast. I'm here. I'm just a guy. I'm the Jag of the group. Got my two geniuses here with me per usual every Thursday. The homies Rory, the OG, and the Unk in the building. Can't call him a YN, a LL, the big bruh. I think you finally reached Unk status, man. But Steven, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing this evening?
What's going on? Hey, does Unk have a negative or positive connotation for you?
It's we talked about this the other week, man. You feel like young cats call you that make you feel old, but it is because you're older than them. It's a sort of reverence, right?
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Are they saying Unk to clown me, or are they saying Unk to give me some respect? Yeah, because that's their age group.
I believe like between 35 and 46 is Unk. I think like between 28 and 35 is Big Bro.
Okay.
And like YN is like, I don't know, like 19 to 25 or something like that. Yeah, it's been the vernacular and the terms have been broken down to me. LN is like somebody like the little fella, like the little junior high kids, them LNs.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, once you get over like 47, you OG. So I'm well into my OG-ness.
OG-ness. I'm getting ready to extend my OG-ness. I'm getting ready to extend it in a week.
Oh yeah, in a week, literally, right? A week from
around that time.
Week from today.
Yeah, 8 days.
Week from today, March 1st. Shout out to all my Pisces out there in the world, Reese's Pieces. But man, fellas, okay. So how's your week been thus far? Pretty good.
Mine's been good. It's been very busy. You know, a lot of things going on, but weekend is the time to recoup, and that's what I'm doing right now.
We're close.
And Thursdays, and it's been a good week. It's been a good week.
Very busy, and like we talked about last week, it's the dead season. And,
it's dead season.
It's real rough when most of your teams are bad. So there's
not
a lot to look forward to. So.
Not mine.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh,
Rory, that
you all heard that Miami University is 27-0 in men's basketball. We are the undefeated Division I program in the country. You don't expect anything less though from greatness. Greatness begets greatness, and that's what we are. Just great. So I hope you heard.
Yeah, they on a nice little run.
That's more than a run. That's a marathon.
27-0.
That's a marathon. That's just impressive.
Rivaling the UNLV running Rebels. I think they went 32-0 and lost to Duke in the finals in 1990, I believe, 91.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stop you right there, Kev. Nice connection, but there is no way that we are that. We're good. We're good, but we're not running Rebels.
You're not.
That was Grant Hill, right? Right, Tate?
Grant Hill, right? Beat him his freshman season. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. What do you remember about that little fella? See, you was less than the LN then.
I remember Grant Hill.
I was an LN then.
I remember when Grant Hill played at Duke, and I remember when he came. I remember his rookie year when he came to the league. I remember that. I remember when he got hurt too. So
he was so special.
He was a beast, man. He was a beast.
He was so special.
Grant Hill had he stayed healthy,
injury prone,
would be mentioned in the top 10 basketball players of all time.
Easily
top 10.
Easy.
I mean, depending on how his resume panned out, he could have been like a top 5 kind of guy.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie how like you look at Derrick Rose, where it kind of mirrors it, kind of the same way, where he was on that massive upward trajectory, and then the injury just stole all his potential away.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think Grant Hill both being healthy, all things considered, Grant Hill was better because he was like 6'8".
Yeah, true.
He could move, man. He could move. He was a game changer. He was a game wrecker if he wanted to be. He could do anything he wanted. He could do anything he wanted to do out there on the court, and it was a pleasure to see him play for the years he played. But
yeah, no, I agree. He played a long time though. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame, because the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame, Naismith Hall of Fame encompasses your total basketball career in its totality. So he got credit for being in college. He stayed till he was a senior. I think they won 2 national championships. I think he went to 3 Final Fours and then Elite 8 every year he was there. They were good. Then to the pros, co-rookie of the year, 1994-95 with Jason Kidd. Had the Detroit Pistons, much like now, on an upward trajectory back then. And he was one of the first guys, big free agents to leave when him and Tracy McGrady went to Orlando, and he had that injury, and Orlando paid him anyway, but he never fully recovered from that. So we never got to see T-Mac and Grant Hill together. Like, I remember all that stuff, man. But, yeah. Shout out to G Hill. I don't know how we got talking about. Oh, because the comparison to UNLV. Steve brought up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, a few things went on this past week. Really, like, as of last weekend, just want to honor a couple of people. We lost a couple of people. The Honorable Reverend Jesse Jackson, an iconic figure in the civil rights movement. He was a presidential candidate in 1984 and 88. He made a serious run. He's the reason that the primaries now are divided into delegates, and everybody gets their portion of the vote in states, which it used to be, winner take all, but that got changed because of Jesse Jackson back then. He finished second in the Democratic race for president, the nomination to Michael Dukakis back then. It was a big thing for African Americans back then. He was on the balcony with Dr. King when he was assassinated. He came up in the movement as a young person. I believe he was like 13 years younger than Dr. King. He used to run with Congressman John Lewis, both of them integral parts of the civil rights movement. So just wanted to shout them gentlemen out, Jesse Jackson, John Lewis. And we lost Rondell Moore, wide receiver, Arizona Cardinals, 25 years old, to what appears to be an apparent suicide. He played for the Cardinals. He was found in his home, I believe in the garage of his home in New Albany, Indiana. He went to Purdue University. Was a really, really good football player, Prayers and thoughts go to his family, his loved ones, and everyone that he left behind. Kind of a difference. Jesse Jackson died at 84. Rondell Moore died at 25. Like, Jesse Jackson has 60 more years of life. And I think, obviously, suicide has always been a thing. But, you get older, at least for me, as far as I'm speaking for myself, you realize the fragility of life, right? And things can be going wrong, and you're having a bad day, a bad week, a bad year, but things can always get better. And we want to, talk to people, say something to somebody, ask how they doing, let them get something off their chest, whatever you can do to try and be a positive influence. You may not know what they're going through, but that's why, just go out and be nice today. Just be nice today. Whoever you are, be nice to people you come in contact with. What do you guys think about any of that? And now my question is, before we get into our topic for today, is we going to talk about the evolution of the athlete over the last 75 years, let's say, do you guys think, because it seems to happen more with football players, there's a correlation between mental health and playing the violent game of football, or is it, what do you think? Rondell Moore is 25 years old. The kid, Steven, that died under the same kind of circumstances for Dallas, he was like around that age too. What do you guys think in general about Jesse Jackson? Then get into the Rondell Moore. What you think about the latter question I just asked? Rory, go ahead.
Jesse Jackson was, a monumental figure when I came to this country. He was, he just, the world shone around him.
He was the HNIC.
He definitely was that. And, over the years, he kind of went back into the background and everything. It was like a lot of things that happened. I mean, but he was still there. He was still there, and I still, for me, like the iconic moment is when he was crying during the inauguration of President Obama.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that very vividly.
The day of the polling. That was the polling, wasn't it? When he was in Chicago, was that?
No, he was at the inauguration with the night.
No, I'm talking about he was at the inauguration, but I'm saying that time he was crying is when I think we found out that Obama had
it wasn't the inauguration. It was the night that they called it. It was that night. I remember because me and my friends had watched that on TV, and then we went down to, it was like maybe 1 a.m. We went down and sat on the tidal basin and just kicked it, which is, because it was kind of like, man, it's a moment. We got to get out here and like experience it a little bit. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. They showed it on when they called it. There were a lot of people everywhere kind of going out to enjoy the moment. And I remember specifically that shot of him crying, because it was like, I don't think he thought. I think it's one of those things where if you've been in that fight for that long, once it happens, it doesn't feel real.
I agree. I think he was overcome. The dude was, and I think a month prior, he was like bad mouthing Obama on the hot mic.
Well, yeah, I think they didn't have the best.
They squashed. I think they squashed it. I think supposedly they squashed it or something. But he went from bad mouthing that dude to going, this dude did it. He did it. Like it was like that transcending moment for our society. For a hot second.
For one moment How far we fallen.
Well, but that was the first domino to fall to make it the dominoes flip back up. You push a domino, they go down.
Mm-hmm.
Brokers turned around as soon as they could and pushed the dominoes back up, and they all
hey, I thought that fell down.
And they're going back through the decades. They're trying to reverse it all the way back.
We put it back up. You missed that one. But yeah, and I just feel as though football. I'm not going to blame it on football. Everyone's going through different things in different sports, different time periods, different people, non-athletes. But we've been finding certain positions get hit a lot. I'm not saying he doesn't. He got hit, but every human being's different, and that CTE is a little demon. I'd almost guarantee you if we cut his brain open, like when we found out like Junior Seau and other people, just the amount of CTE that has taken over those brains, you never know. But it could be just people down. People are down on different times, different things. I don't know, but it's unfortunate to lose people at a young age like that. Especially like you said, life is an amazing thing. The fact that we have it is amazing. And not to be able to and your body wants to live. Every cell in your body wants to live. So if you go to that extreme where unfortunately you are that sad or whatever might be going on, that you cease that life, that's I don't know. I mean, life is amazing. Life is precious, but sometimes I don't. Yeah, but I was going to talk about administration. I'm not gonna go to that other stuff. The whole this, but life is special, and it's a loss. It's a loss when we lose someone. You
never know what somebody's going through. You never know because it could be, so you can see what it looks like, but you don't know what it is to them, because everybody internalizes things different. Everybody has their different breaking points. Steven, what are your thoughts, man, before we move on?
I just agree with what Rory said about Jesse Jackson. I'll say that, I mean, for a lot of people my age, there's probably like 3 monolith guys for the what we need to have like living civil rights, people that you kind of think of as Al Sharpton, John Lewis, and Jesse Jackson. And it's kind of sobering to know that that 2 out of those 3 guys are gone. And for me, it's hard because it's like, man, we really need people like that right now. And it doesn't feel like there's a lot of voices that are my age that are like that. There is a difference between people my age that make a lot of money off of this stuff, but aren't really doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. And people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and John Lewis, who are willing to sacrifice all of anything that they could gain to help everybody out. You just don't hear voices like that anymore. and it's hard. But about the other thing, and I'll be really brief about this, but I am going to blame football. I think football culture and the culture around sports in general just breeds an environment where a young man it may feel weak, or may have his pride hurt if he feels like he's having a problem. There is no open dialogue in sports, and when people try to have one, people start talking about participation trophies and stuff like that. So you can't have it both ways. If you want a bunch of tough guys out on the field, then you're going to have guys that are struggling with mental health issues because they're not going to be talking about it. They're not going to be talking. If you tell them they need to toughen it up when they have a physiological issue, when their leg hurts, they have a joint problem, why would they treat any mental issue any differently? That's where I'm coming from. So, I mean, you have to have a culture shift if you want this to stop. It's no different from what we talked about how come, these young stars blow their money and stuff like that. Well, if you don't teach them anything about money, then that's what happens. It's the same thing.
I wouldn't put, as a heads up, I do agree. I do agree with a lot of stuff all the stuff you say, but I wouldn't put Al Sharpton on that list though. I wouldn't have.
I think that's unfair. But
I'll say this: Al Sharpton was along for the ride a lot of the way through it. My only thing with Al Sharpton, he lets you know he was along the ride every way through it. I respect everything Al Sharpton has to say, but every time he has said something, it goes back to him. Like it always listen to him when he talks. It always goes back to himself. You know what I mean? I've heard all week long about how, oh yeah, I was with Jesse and Jesse taught me this and that. And we're not talking about you. We talking about Jesse Jackson. So I mean, that's not a gripe. That's just
who he is. No, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, but I would say that most of the voices that are in these movements that are my age, they sound more like Al than anybody sounding like John Lewis or Jesse Jackson.
And I also have a problem with him being the perceived representative of a monolith of which is black people in America, and he doesn't represent me. Some of his ideologies that he has learned over all these years from people like Jesse Jackson, who learned from Dr. King and John Lewis, and the fact that he's been around Barack Obama and like all the different things that he's experienced, his exposure to things. I respect what he has to say, but he's not as high on the pedestal. I wouldn't necessarily agree with what Rory said, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with what you said. But he was there along the way, so he knows. He has the blueprint. He has access to the blueprint. So from that perspective, I can agree. So, I mean, with him and John Lewis being gone, Jesse Jackson, and John Lewis being gone, Al Sharpton is the link, one of the links to them who was linked to Dr. King. And I think that's part of the problem you're talking about, Stephen, is that we're losing, as it becomes disconnected. With every generation, it becomes further and further disconnected, and people don't understand the importance and significance of what's really going on or how it used to be. Oh, but they trying to show you now, but they don't know how it used to be. I feel like
they
Stephen,
don't.
I've
Not.
I've known you for a long time now, and I know you come from a good family that's enlightened. You know you're a smart dude, so I know you get it. Mm-hmm. I think some of the people you are around probably get it, but there's a lot of people that don't get it.
They've grown up now. They have no clue of what it used to be. Like, I mean, we're talking about like just straight up. This is like the 80s, and segregation was still around. 70s, 80s. I mean, I came to this country, there was straight up segregation, and it was in your face. I mean, now it's more like the poverty, you know what I mean? But segregation.
Rory, there was a race riot in Boston in 1978. That is not black and white. That's full color.
I'm aware. I'm just saying that when I came to this country, there was straight up segregation. It was like in your face. It was like, this is how it is, and you got to live. You have to live with it. And that's.
I just want to say Kevin is 100% right, and in that you're so disconnected that where we're at now, and the three of us are kind of like, it's not shock. None of us are like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But it's kind of like, man, this is messed up. And you have this generation that doesn't even believe what's happening is happening. You have a conversation with them, and it's like, well, nah, racism don't exist no more. And it's like, bruh, are you kidding me? Like, like, how do you not even understand what's currently happening in front of you? Well, that's not happening to me. It's like,
yeah, but there is that disconnect. But I definitely understand that. I just, remember a time when people were straight up just saying stuff. I mean, like I remember them interviewing, like people who were white, about like the NBA, for example, and people straight up saying on camera, like it was nothing, like there are too many black people in the NBA, and they just saying stuff like that wasn't those were norms. Those were norms. Those were norms.
As it relates to sports, there was a time when black quarterbacks weren't intellectual enough to be able to run an offense in the game of football.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll just say that the biggest pushback against NIL money is a very specific group. It ain't nobody that you see sitting here. It's a very specific group. And I had this happen to me in a bar yesterday. I was sitting in a bar killing time, and a guy inserted himself into a conversation I was having with someone else about NIL money. This older white woman was asking me, she said she didn't like the way the players are transferring. And I was like, yeah, well, before they had no agency at all. And before, I'm a player and I generate all this money and I don't get any of it back. He just says they don't deserve any of it. He just says that out of nowhere. He's not in the conversation. And it's like, to me, it's like, bro, nobody asked you to speak. Nobody, I know what your opinion is without you saying it. I think, go ahead. Sorry.
Just real quick. I want to get on to what we're going to talk about, but I just think that it, from what you're saying, but it starts, you said nobody like us, right? Like us right here on this podcast, and people that you would think are close to us or similar backgrounds in us that you see. It starts from the top, literally the tip top, literally the 47th number top, going back to,
the NFL stuff that he was coming
at
them for.
The kneeling controversy, him getting with his boy Nick Saban, who been getting players all the time in Alabama. It's not as good as it was when Nick Saban was there, who tapped out when the NIL got started. Now, I think there needs to be some regulation behind the NIL and that kind of stuff, name and likeness. Right now, there's an issue with Kansas basketball player, Darren Peterson, really good player, probably the best player, will be the number one pick, like the kid from Ohio, same high school LeBron James went to, but he's playing the game. He got all his NIL deals, and because he's this really good player, he's picking and choosing with a legendary coach, Bill Self at Kansas. He takes himself in and out of the games. He always hurt. He needs to sit out. Like, I really feel like he's messing up his draft stock. We know you're good. We know you're an elite talent. We know you could be number one pick, but there are other things that go along with that affords you the opportunity to be able to make the type of generational money that you could make, and you're just not putting a good foot forward. And I think there needs to be some regulation on NIL. That's my final thought on it. But don't surprise me that whoever injected themselves in your conversation at this bar feels the way that they feel, right?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, again, I'm more surprised that you thought that was what you should inject yourself in a conversation with, was to be racist. You know what I mean?
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself.
Like you could have entered the conversation at any point before then, and no one would assume that you're racist. But the point that you came in, that's the only assumption I can make. What else can I get from what you just said? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's surprising to me. It's like Rory said, it's almost like going back to the days where they just call you an N-word to your face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
some cases they are. Some cases they are. Yeah, I mean, I've seen, like, in the last 10 years, I've seen a prevalence of people just straight up using that word to be hurtful on video, and they're getting caught in video doing it. But we've had video for a long time, but I just see more of a prevalence in the last few years. Like I would say 7 years. It's just been like it's been in your face, like just coming out and saying it, like wow, like it's made a comeback.
It didn't make a comeback. It came back when 47 was 45. And when 44 was in, and who would be 45 started the birther movement and all that kind of stuff. This guy has ruined relationships, race relationships, government, everything for the past 15 years. And everything he's doing now to break it up is going to have us behind for the next 15 more years. Minimal. Mark my words. But with that being said, we're going to transition to tonight's show. And man, we spent a good 20 minutes on just talking about what we've talked about, but it was productive, so I can certainly appreciate it. I think some things just need to be said, right? Even if you get off topic, some things just need to be discussed and said. What we're going to talk about tonight is the athlete evolution then and now, where athletes were like the greatest athletes back in the day. You can see the disparity between the black and white pictures and some of the best athletes now. And he's such a great athlete. He's not of this generation. He's probably of my generation, maybe a couple years older than me, Bo Jackson, but he's one of the greatest athletes of all time. So
injury, another one.
Yeah, but still.
But still, he was amazingly talented.
Yeah. So I had to include him in that graphic. What you saying, Roy?
No, I was just saying, just like a human being that he transcended humanity for a hot second. He really did. He just transcended us. He was more than us. He was the best, anyway, but continue, Kev. Continue.
I'm just going to read the show description real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. From Babe Ruth to Shohei Ohtani, George Mikan to Victor Wembanyama, Joe Namath to Lamar Jackson. Modern athletes are generally faster, stronger, and more skilled than their predecessors of the past. Some contributing factors are driven by advancements in sports science and medicine, specialized training, nutrition, and technology. So, we want to talk about the phenomenon that has enabled some younger generations, because I told you guys before, I hear all kind of lunacy at the barbershop every other week when I go. Like they talk about some of these athletes from times past. Oh, they're trash, they're this. I mean, they might not be as highly skilled as athletes are today, but you have to look at the continuum, right? If they weren't those athletes, then today's athletes would have nobody to aspire to be.
You have to have a bar. You have to have bars, right?
You have to have a bar to continue raising the bar. Exactly, Roy.
Also, I think it's important to point out that some of those guys could play the modern game. Guys like Babe Ruth and Michael Jordan had transcendent generational talent. Like, so it doesn't, like, if you talk about those guys and you're saying they're trash, then you're just wrong. You know what I mean? Kind of like.
You made a big jump from Babe Ruth to Michael Jordan. I mean,
well,
Babe Ruth was a pitcher. In the era against the time competition, Babe Ruth would be in the dugout drinking beers or smoking cigarettes.
But that was the point I was about to make, was that he was not what you would consider an athlete.
Right.
And he could perform at that. Imagine if he was doing modern sports training.
Right.
And
That's
stuff
true.
Like that.
That's true. That's true.
And not only was he also a pitcher, but he was such a huge star that they told him not to hit for average. Go out there and try to hit home runs. We don't want you to do nothing else. So imagine what his numbers would be if he were like a Ty Cobb and was just a jerk and was like, nah, I'm gonna hit. He could, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I mean, like with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is so many things he could have done with the game. Imagine if Michael Jordan had crafted his game around the 3-point shot. Are we saying he couldn't have shot it and been an effective 3-point shooter? Like he could do any of that stuff. He was gonna be playing that. If for not the strike, he would have been playing professional baseball. He would have been playing Major League Baseball at some point. So, like, to me, that's not, I don't care when you're born. That guy's going to be good no matter what. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of him having enough time to craft that skill. But yeah.
I'm gonna go on the boat that the biggest contributors to the improvements in athletic performance is going to be number one, nutrition. Nutrition is number one. It's like 80% of the progress a human being can make. But then also at the same time, the physical training that people didn't know about during that time period. I remember, if you can attest to this, like when Jordan, Jordan he did stuff. I'm sure he worked out in the gym here and there, shooting shots, but he wasn't really hitting the weights. He was and then that when he got beaten about by the Detroit Pistons, that's when he decided he was going to lift some weights. And when he started lifting some weights with a trainer, his game skyrocketed. He was able to last the season. He was able to, carry the team on his back that much more. And I think Jordan is like the template for what was different between the different generations. And if Babe Ruth had followed the diet regimen, who knows what could happen? I don't know. It might have messed up his game. Who knows? But it's nutrition. Training is going to be the biggest, transcender.
I mean, let me ask you this, just your opinion real quick. Cause I want to, you said Jordan, Rory, and I agree with you somewhere along that line. And I want to play a couple clips of when I was in life and I knew things had changed as far as this dynamic we're talking about goes, right? But question is, because this has been a barbershop discussion also, Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett is a freak, right? Defensive player of the year twice. Just set the SAT record. Physical freak, has been since he entered the league. I think this is 2020. I think he entered the league in like 2018-ish, 19-ish, somewhere around there.
You're right. Yeah, I think it's 2018.
He's from this town, just so you know. He's from where I live right now. He's from where I live.
Is he from there in Irving?
He's from Irving?
Well, I don't live in. I teach in Irving. I live in Arlington.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's right.
And Miles is from Arlington.
Okay. No.
Okay, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, not a problem. We know how great he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think afforded the same nutrition? Okay, so right now we know 2018. He came out of college a freak, right? So whatever regimen he had, he started before he was in college or while he was in college, very minimum, right?
High school, college, yep.
Yep.
Do you think, going back now, former athlete, former all-time great, Lawrence Taylor have been afforded the same things, everything Myles Garrett was doing? We think Lawrence Taylor, football player, will be better than Myles Garrett?
No. LT
Well,
had a drug problem.
different position.
And LT had other problems that prevented him from being the best, literal best athlete he could be. The drugs have to be something you talk about there.
Yeah, but we're
not talking about it. If he had the same pattern, same process,
follow the same regimen.
Yes.
Okay, so no drugs. Then yeah,
we're speaking
absolutely
from a genetic standpoint.
Absolutely, because I think that in maybe not the same size or whatever, but LT was blessed with that same physical gift. He was not limited by his body. He could just do whatever he wanted to do. He could run faster than anybody his size. He was super strong. If he was working out and eating right, he would have been completely unstoppable.
Yeah, if he wasn't partying and allegedly was been written about and admitted by him doing drugs and stuff, snorting lines, what he could have been provided today's standards of training and nutrition and specialized sports science and everything else. What do you think, Roy?
I am 100% on board. Like, that's what I've been saying. Like, if athletes, of today, of yesterday, had what the athletes of today had, oh my goodness, man! Oh my goodness! Like like even watching tape. Even being able to watch tape of yourself, not just the other team, but tape of yourself, where people are just like, oh, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing it. Just if you had all those trappings, he would be. I mean, he's already one of the greats. You know what I mean? Could you imagine? Can you imagine if he had additional assistance in.
Can I make a point here? And I think this is really important, and I'll give an example for it. But I think that ultimately what we're talking about, where you have a transitional player come and people benefit from the changes that they made to the game, I don't think it's the number one guys that benefit from that the most, because those guys are just gifted. I think it's everybody else. The middle guys are the ones who benefit the most. Each next generation, those mid guys are better than the guys before them because they get to take advantage of everything that nobody had access to. And I think the best example of that, maybe not the greatest sport, but it's Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods brought a like football and basketball training mindset to a sport where guys didn't do that at all. And now everybody in golf does that. Everybody's jacked. Everybody in golf hits the gym. Everybody can hit a 300-yard drive. Like it's because of him, because he said, okay, well, if none of these guys are doing this, then I'm going to be the best. I'll be able to hit the ball farthest. And it really did work. He's another guy that got wrecked by injury. But I think, what do you guys think about do you agree that it's not the best guys that benefited? It was the guys in the middle. It's the role player. Each generation, that role player is going to be so much better because they have access to all this stuff that these other guys never would have got. They don't have the money, and it's not widely accessible for them anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that. All the role players are also getting the one-on-one training. I mean, I go to the Arlington Rec Center. You got kids getting trained by, like just the same move. You know what I mean? Like they're doing the sham god. You know what I mean? And that's part of their training now. Like these kids know everything that they're supposed to know, even the role players, so that they get on the courts, they get on wherever courts they're getting on, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. They're able to do basic things at a high level, those role players. Not all of them have that. And you can see the difference between the people that haven't and don't have it. But when you get that one, I mean, imagine if Lawrence Taylor had one-on-one training, from different specialists. Like, and that's the thing. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you have those things, you can be a great role player. But at the same time, if you're already great, it just makes you that much greater.
Right.
I think that speaks to what agreeing with both of you. What Steven's saying, I agree with Tiger Woods, the Tiger Woods effect in golf, but in sports in general, Roy said it raises the bar, right? You raise the bar. So it only would stand to reason if the bar is raised for the elite, then the scrubs behind have to be better than the scrubs of the past. And no disrespect, when I say scrubs, I mean role players. Let me be PC like
the guys who aren't the stars.
Those people, it only stands to reason that they would be better also, because they're products of the same time, this same time period where guys are getting all this specific training. It goes to a level now when I was in school, I played football, basketball, baseball. Now athletes as early as junior high
are specializing.
Pick your sport. What you gonna do? Because we're gonna do this year round. It's a difference, right? Now in high school, I didn't play basketball, but I played a little bit of baseball and I played football. But then but that was just what we did. Like you were a varsity lettered athlete in 2 or 3 different sports when I was in school. Now you just, like Roy said, specialize. You have an individual trainer, you go work out, you do drills. We're talking 3-4 times a week during the off season. So it was like there wasn't doing that 30-40 years ago.
They were not.
They weren't doing it 20 years ago, guys. When the high school I went to, the football field looks like the Star now. They got them they got them pushing things, and they got all that stuff. And I've seen it when they training them football players. When I was in school, when I was in high school, I remember the varsity players had to play other sports all season to stay in shape. They weren't allowed to take off, right? That's not a thing now. Like Kevin said, you practicing football all year round. You might get a week break, but when football ends, we doing all season training for the rest of the thing in high school. So I think it all leads to guys like Kyle Kuzma. where you have a guy who's really talented and is a benefit. He's a product of modern sports training, but all of that has led to this confidence where he thinks he's like one of the best players ever. And it's like, nah, man, you're average. Like most of the guys that you play with, you may be slightly above average, but
I think Kyle Kuzma was from Michigan, I believe, not like the highest athletic division in Michigan. He probably was running them kids 6'7", 6'8". He probably was a beast. He went to school at Utah. He was nice, but there's levels to this, right? When you get to the NBA, you're not as nice. And what you speak to with the specialization is why you find all the best athletes typically. I think there's it's something to the will we say, can I say toughness, like, or just, I don't want to just like other people aren't tough, but when you live in the South, Georgia, Texas, the West, California, these warm weather states, you can train year round. When you live up in the Midwest or the North,
Rust Belt.
Yeah, the Rust Belt especially.
You're limited.
Wintertime kills it. But those guys, which is why environmentally, when those teams have home field advantage, those guys that are fast, quick, practicing in the sunshine all the time aren't used to it. So it's different. It's different benefits to both. But those other guys get to train outside all the time, get to be outside running 7-on-7 drills in football or playing baseball and doing fielding exercises and running track. My brother-in-law coaches track at a high level, Olympic level. He has a training facility in Orlando, Florida. That's where they live year-round because the athletes can be there year-round training. I mean, so there's that's part of it too. You know what I mean?
Having the facilities is key, and a lot of all those specialized training facilities are making money off athletes. I mean, where I was living in Indiana, there's a place called the Lineman Lab, and a lot of the teams, and it's great for the coaches, the high school coaches, because you can just worry about the X's and O's. Your linemen are learning stuff, how to block, how to get past the block. I mean, they're learning that stuff at the Lineman Lab, and they just come to you ready to go. So I couldn't imagine, and the coaches like I said, the Indiana coaches must be loving that because those guys are busting their butts in the Lineman Lab. Coaches can worry about the X's and O's. They come ready to go, knowing how to block. Coaches don't have to say anything. They're like, I want you to do this. I want you to block this. I want down block this. And they just do it because they've had the specialized training from the Lineman Lab. That's where we are now.
Which is why quarterbacks come more better prepared now too to the college level. You get higher. That's why there could be up between 8 and 10 first round quarterbacks next year in the NFL draft. Not 2026, 2027, because so many kids went back.
And we forget all these quarterbacks. People wash out. I'm not. My generation, our generation, Kev. There were some quarterbacks that were just garbage. I get it. You know what I mean? They were able to just throw the ball up. The Mountain West, that kind of stuff. But the quarterbacks of the day, like if you made it through all those, I forgot the name of some of the programs, like the 12-man, 6-man, whatever. Where the football players, the quarterbacks go to a camp. What's the name of that big camp they all go to? It's like the blue chip camp with quarterbacks. Like Spencer Rattler went there and all the other, and they go through and they kind of that's where CJ Stroud went to at one point, and Spencer Rattler, and that's how you first knew who these people were. And then they went to the Ohio States and they went to, what I'm talking about? But anyway, my point I'm making here is all these quarterbacks can make all the throws. You know what I mean? This new breed of quarterback, they can do it all.
They can all run. All of them can run.
They can do it all.
Everybody can do it all. So
it just comes down to, can they read defenses?
But you know what, Rory? I think the funny part is, I think
the Elite 11. Elite 11.
I think it's the opposite of, and it's why I think Tate is annoyed by the conversation in the barbershop, is because even with all the new modern training, I think it's even easier to know who the breakout guys are. If everybody can do everything, well, the guy doing everything right is the guy that's better than everyone. You know what I'm saying? The guy who never seems to where everything seems to go his way and stuff like that. It's so easy to identify who the best guy is now. Because it's like the NBA. Everybody can shoot the three. Every single person on the roster can shoot the three, right? Okay, well, who's the guy that's shooting the three when he's open, and who's the guy who makes the movement to set the three like that? Like it's so obvious who Steph Curry is versus everybody else. You know what I mean? And that was the point I was making about Jordan. If they asked Jordan to shoot the three, he'd be in the top in 3-point percentage if that's what they asked him to do, because he'd practice it and he'd get good at it.
Yeah.
But a guy like Steph Curry means his brother is now one of the best 3-point shooters ever because everybody shoots the three. And now every 7-footer in the league can stop and pop the three because they seen Durant do it for years. They watched Durant run. That second half offense with Golden State, and Durant can stop and pop or take it to the rim. And now every kid in America wants to be able to do that. So like you said, eventually you're going to have everybody on the court be – everybody on the court is already giant, but then everybody's going to be able to shoot the three and be able to have decent moves up down low. But then
everybody's skilled. That's just the level of skill training. Even the big men get it. He graduated in 89. I graduated in 91, but I remember the McDonald's All-American game, basketball. Shaq played in it, got a rebound, went coast to coast, went around his back so slightly. It wasn't like it was clean and crisp, but he's 7-foot Shaq going around his back, going all the way down from coast to coast, dunking it. Dick Vitale lost his effing mind, literally. Diaper Dandy, baby, Shaquille O'Neal, remember the name? I mean, but it's evolved from there. Like what Shaq did then, Joker does 10 times a game now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shaq was raw talent. Shaq was raw talent. Shaq did not train
we're talking about
or
Shaq.
anything.
No, Shaq at that point was a phenom because he actually was in shape. Number one, yeah, he
was skinny. It was skinny Shaq.
Yeah, but he was in shape, but he still didn't train. Come on, y'all. He wasn't training. He just played in shape. You know,
he
played himself into shape.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of those players, had their own specialized trade. They would just do the same thing. Like, they know this works. I'm going to do this. Like, for example, Kareem's skyhook. I mean, I saw him on the playgrounds just drilling that move, just drilling it and drilling and drilling. And that's how it wasn't like they had coaches doing it. They're like, oh, someone might have said, hey, Kareem, this might work for you. And Kareem's like, okay, I'll take that. And Kareem just drilled that same move. Kareem didn't need any other moves, though. It was almost an unguardable shot, but that's what they had, and that's what they did back then. And if Kareem, and then some like Olajuwon came along, oh my goodness, Olajuwon could do, but it was the same thing. It was the same spin move. You know what I mean? Stop, move, spin.
Well, his footwork was immaculate.
Fade away.
You
had beautiful footwork.
You had guys up until then who, when they played the center position as a big man, their job was to bully, right?
Yeah.
You get the ball, you pound the block, you bang somebody, you feel a body, you spin off of it, and you dunk the ball. That's what you did.
Don't drill. Don't put the ball on the court if you're the big man.
He changed that game. Changed the game. So, and once again, but it was I'm not bashing Olajuwon, right? But it was the same move. He was doing the same thing. It was on repeat.
He was doing the same thing, but he had different options out of the same move. He could go left, he could go right, he could fade, he could do a lot of things off the same. A lot of things off the same footwork. And to this day, I got to put Tim Duncan in there, who's more modern. Mm-hmm. But Akeem Olajuwon, Kevin McHale, and Tim Duncan, who retired, who came into the league in 1998, I believe, 97, 98. The best low post moves ever for big men. Akeem Olajuwon, Kevin McHale, Tim Duncan. Book it.
And if the young people just train, specialize in those moves, they're set. I think they're set because I feel
like Rory made a really good case for why Kareem should be included in there, because that hook shot was unguardable. He was good at it that they really couldn't stop it. You had to stop him from getting to the spot. But yeah, I agree with that 100%. Olajuwon for real.
You didn't see Kareem. Kareem's one of the all-time greats, top 5 unquestionably, unequivocally all time. But he had his move that he developed. He deserves all the credit in the world for that. But I'm talking about when you catch the ball, somebody's defender's on you, you up, you under, you footwork, you pivot. That wasn't Kareem. Like you said, Kareem get to his spot, And in rhythm, you break his rhythm, he has
Mhm.
more difficulty. Get in rhythm, throw that hook shot up, and it was like automatic, right?
Yeah, you're
The
right.
most
He wasn't
unguardable shot.
he wasn't a low post work, and
Right?
that
No,
yeah,
no.
that
It
really
was just
was
a,
a
it was just a bucket. It was
Olajuwon
just a
showed you
bucket.
a big man could have that finesse and skill and could just give you a shoulder fake and get you off him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So,
He did change he changed that position. And
He was
because of
revered.
him,
Like he was revered.
because of Olajuwon, you have Joker
Mhm.
and you have Wemby. Like you have these two guys who, like you said, they never would have if they were in 90 centers, they never would be working with that ball handling coach and shooting threes and stuff. But because the skill set has been the bar has been raised so high, everybody got to be able to do everything. You got to be
well,
able to handle the ball if you're a big man.
You really can't even play basketball no more. You get played off the court. If you're a big, you can play, but you get played off the court in crucial, critical situations. If you're a big, they can't stretch the floor. They don't want you now down there clogging up the lane and stuff like that. It's an open, free-flowing game where you drive, you kick out, you drive, you kick out for the open shot. They want you to be able to use your skills to get to the basket and create for yourself or create for others. That's the name of the game now.
I'm gonna give somebody credit who may be unpopular, but I think that he really understood that about his role on the team. But Draymond is a top-notch passer, and I don't think he gets credit for that. And that was the role that he fell into in that team. Like,
I mean, he's a product of the system. I watched Draymond Green's entire career. I have a friend of mine that has a brother that went to Michigan State and was a good friend of his. My friend's brother played football. Draymond played basketball. Draymond was a good Big Ten player, was a really good, but I mean, he fell into a system that works for him. He has a skill set, but he wasn't the first to do that. I mean, that's what Scottie Pippen was a great passer and all defensive first team player and stuff like that. I mean, so Draymond wasn't a first, and Scottie Pippen, Draymond Green averages like 7 points a game for his career. Scottie Pippen impacted the game offensively as well and does the same things that Draymond Green does.
But
he fell into a role with the appropriate team where he's a big man that can handle and pass, and you're passing to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
That's what I was going. But that was the point I was going to make, is that offense doesn't work without Dre being able to handle and pass the ball. If he can't handle the ball and pass, then he can't bring the ball down in transition. And now the offense is effed up because now Steph has the ball instead of running to wherever he wants to.
There are other people that could do that.
True.
One of the other people that could do what Steph Curry and Klay Thompson can do. That's what I say. He is a product of the team he was on, the system he was in. Now his skills flourished and shined in that system, no doubt.
Yeah.
But if he was on another team without those guys, it wouldn't look the same.
No.
It wouldn't look the
And
same.
I think he's hyper aware of that, and that's why he stays put.
Well,
that's why he stays put. Every time they go, is Draymond leaving? Draymond's not going anywhere because Draymond leaves, his career might be over. He better cherry pick to a fine, like he has to find an almost identical system to set himself up. If he leaves, he's done.
He'd be fine if he went
35 now. He was just in trade rumors before the trade deadline. If they could have got Giannis, his ass was out of there. He thought he won right before the trade deadline. Thought he might have played his last game at Golden State, but the trade with Giannis, Milwaukee pulled out of it. So,
right.
But with that being said, we're going to get out of here real quick. Just a couple minutes. I want to ask you, Rory, and ask Steven. I know your birthday. What year were you born?
86.
Oh, wow. This is before. So I realized the evolutional change in sports was on its way before you were born, bro. You know that? This was 11 months before you were born. Rory, you know what that the marking line for me in that where I remember that from?
Well, the change in abilities
in evolution of athletes.
I'm
1985.
85.
85.
If he does, he does.
Yes, the movie Rocky IV.
It did exemplify that. It did. You're right. The montage, the training montage. You know, the Drago. You know, training the scientific and Rocky doing the old school. Is that where you're going with this?
This is what was to come. So
to me, I think the big change was when ADP got hurt and came back and almost broke the record because I thought his career was over. A running back that got an AC. Remember, he had his ACL injury. I think I didn't realize how much further they had come along with the science, like the medical technology. I didn't realize you could just give a guy a new joint and he could just be himself again. Because again, most of the running backs that had gotten hurt, injured in that way, it was the end of their career. The Priest got hurt, got a knee injury, his career was over. You know what I'm saying? Like
Terrell Davis. I mean, yeah,
Terrell Davis, all these guys, and then like I know it's later
those
along in the
advancements
timeline.
in
But
modern
that's the thing I was gonna.
ADP, when ADP came back, now all of a sudden all these Bamas coming back from ACL injuries, and some of them are better than they were before the injury. And it's like, yo, that used to just be the end of your career. Like, oh, okay, well now these guys are indestructible. Like, there's nothing can stop them.
Yeah, it's talking.
Just thinking about someone like
coming back right now.
You know, like Bo. Like I don't know. I mean, he had like some. You know, he had other issues, but
a hip injury.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I was gonna say the same exact thing as in the medical aspect of athletes. Now it's when I was in high school, you get an ACL injury, you were done. Like you said, Stephen.
Well,
but then it's like some people came back. They had the cadaver because they had cadaver ACLs.
They had to give you the zombie stuff. They had to give you the zombie stuff. Yeah,
it was a whole other world.
My favorite football player of all time, favorite Pittsburgh Steeler, Rod Woodson, got injured in the season, got shook out his shoes by Barry Sanders on the turf, which they try not to play on as much anyway. Not the artificial turf, not the rug carpet they used to play on. I mean, they play on synthetic fields, more grass type of stuff now, but not carpet that your cleats get caught in and you tear up your ankles and stuff like that in your knees. But he was back for the Super Bowl. He played.
Yes. Ben got hit by a car. He got hit by a car while riding a motorcycle and then played football in the same calendar year. Yeah, he just played football later that he got hit by a car while riding a motorcycle and then played football later on that year. He didn't. I
don't know if that was much medical advantage. He's just a big knucklehead. I think it's a combination of the two.
I think, Kev, it was like when the Terrell Owens Super Bowl when he got hurt when he was playing for the Eagles and Terrell Owens got hurt. And he came back and he made it back. Then at that moment is when I knew that medical technology had changed enough for Terrell Owens to make it back in a football season from an ACL. And I said at that moment I was like, we are in a whole different era now because they have advanced so much that a human being can tear ligaments in their knee and be back by the end of the season. That's a football season. Oof.
Even your Achilles, right? I mean, Kevin Durant has had his Achilles fixed and come back. He's still Kevin Durant. I've seen Achilles injuries in Isaiah Thomas's career, Dominique Wilkins' career. We talked about Grant Hill, and back in this is like the late 90s, early 2000s. Talking about Grant Hill. Yeah. I mean, man.
If we had once again, if they had those, even the medical technology, they had the training, they had the nutrition. If they have that trifecta right there, that's some of these athletes of then are going to be, and even the know-how of like, hey, you've taken one hit too many. Maybe it's time for you to rest for a hot second. You know what I'm saying? Like even concussions, like even protocols that we have now, where people get hurt and they have to be like, back in the day, you're okay. You just got your bell rung. Get back out there.
Right. In terms of for football, we are not that far away from them being able to tell you how many times you can run the ball and get hit before your knees are going to blow up. They're going to be able to do that. The guy, they'll be able to say, okay, when you throw the ball the 10,000th time, your shoulder is just going to explode. Oh, yeah. They're going to be able to do that.
Give me. With my first round draft pick, give me Earl Campbell. I don't care that he carried the ball 1,000 times in 3 seasons at Texas. Give me that guy. Now you wouldn't touch him.
Nope.
Or you get him in the 5th round.
You say, he
got too much wear and tear on him.
He got too much wear and tear. He didn't carry the ball too many times. So,
right. Yeah. It's like, so we're going to close up with this. Do you guys think the genetics and the athletes are better today or just the access helps the athletes be better today? Finish with that thought. Rory, you go first.
The access. I think human beings are human beings, but you can tap into the human potential. But it's the present day stuff that allows them to transcend and be who they are. And I definitely appreciate it, though. I definitely, I'm with the people are the same. It's just that what they have access to in the present day is going to make them.
And to shout you out, Rory, because you were an elite amateur athlete, right? You were trying out or made the.
I was a British national champ at 163 pounds, Kev. That is correct.
Okay, go ahead and toot your own horn, man. I was trying to get there, and thank you for clearing it up for me. But I mean, I remember when you used to be, not that you aren't in shape now, you used to be jacked and ripped.
Yeah. That's nutrition. That was just like learning, like just going, and it's not like I had a nutritionist, but I had access to being able to read about nutrition, right? And this is what I should be doing. This is what I should be eating. And just having that access to, that kind of knowledge that I know that I didn't have when I was in high school. You know what I mean? They were giving me knowledge, like, oh yeah, just do this, just do that. And they were doing what they could at the time, but you didn't have access to good,
we leave football practice, high school in the summer. It was 2 days back then, right? You come in the morning when it's a little cooler, practice from 7:30, 8 o'clock to about 10:30, 11 o'clock. We go to a pizza buffet for lunch. It had to be back in football at like 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening. They ain't doing that now.
No.
Steven, your thoughts? Athlete or access? Which one makes them better? Themselves or their access to what they have?
It's definitely the classic nature versus nurture argument, and I think that oftentimes I end up in the middle of that. I think Rory's right. People are people. Some people are blessed with really superhuman abilities, and I think that the access gives people a taste of that. The access means that the average guy can be a lot better than he'd ever would, and he might get a taste of what it feels like to be the best guy. But the best guys are going to be the best guys no matter what they have access to. I think that's the point that I think is really important. That the access nurturing, it means a whole lot to me, who has no physical gifts or abilities or talents, but to a Mike Trout or a Shohei Ohtani, it's just going to make them the best version of themselves. They're going to be them no matter what.
Yeah, well, it makes if you starting out at a certain point. I mean, if your basic genetics are better than somebody else's basic genetics, and you go through the same training, you're going to ascend higher because you already started out at a higher potential. Right. So it only stands to reason. But man, with all that being said, guys, felt like it was a great discussion. Appreciate everybody who's tapped in on this Thursday evening. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. Anything you guys want to say if we get out of here, we'll be back next week. But anything you guys want to say before we leave out?
No, thanks for joining us, everybody. Let's catch y'all next week.
I say once again, thank you, Jesse Jackson, for being that presence for us. And I definitely appreciated him when I came to this country, for sure. Just to give me acknowledgement as a human being. Someone who was had notoriety to a certain extent and someone to aspire to. But another loss for us. But for the rest of us, I say bye too.
And yeah, I agree with Rory. Jesse Jackson is an iconic figure. And I just won't get into it, so you just made me think about it. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson declined to let Jesse Jackson lay a state in the Capitol. I was done for Rosa Parks.
It's retaliation.
I'm sorry.
It's retaliation. There was pushback. They
wanted I don't know. There was pushback. He was told. He knew he couldn't do it.
Well, no, remember he's the one who introduced the bill to have Charlie Kirk lay in state, and that got shot down. So this is like
Charlie Kirk was racist.
I agree, but anybody that is anybody that's not a government worker or a president, you have to vote on them being able to lie in state, and this is the retaliation for voting against Charlie Kirk.
To be the Speaker of the House, you have to be the one to bring it to a vote.
Yeah, that's true. And he declined to bring a vote. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because he knows it. He know that it would have went through. They would have passed it.
I wish I had my list. There have been 8 non-political figures that have laid in the state at the Capitol.
The most recent was John Lewis.
John Lewis was one.
John Lewis was the most recent. I think before that it was Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was 2008. And that was a big deal when I remember it being a huge thing. It was actually a big news story when she was going, when they, announced she was going to Lion State. I don't like to do that, so I ain't go see her, but yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, everybody, thanks for tapping in. JAG2G.
Thank you.
For the homies Rory and Steven, I'm your boy Tate. Till next week, we out. Peace.
Mamba out.
Y'all come back now.